The story kicks off straight into Bahia, this crazy vibrant city that's basically wrapped around one legendary thing, a high-speed train that slices through every part of the place. It zooms right past it. Downtown? Of course. Underground subway? Yup, it flashes through that too. They even sell toy versions of it because it's basically their mascot at this point. And that's when we meet Falcon. Falcon's a raccoon, and yeah, he technically works, but his job is basically stealing stuff all day. Like, he's smooth with it too. Pickpockets wish they had this guy's talent. His favorite days are Pignus days, and for him, that means unlimited, premium, buffet-style snacking opportunities. No human can stop him, and their pets sure try, but they're not even close. Case in point, a tiny dog tries chasing him into a narrow alley like it's some action movie. Falcon pretends to be cornered for a second, then smirks as the dog gets yanked away when his leash gets caught on a passing HWDK cart. Falcon's basically the master of street-smart slapstick at this point, but for all his sneaky behavior, he's not a selfish thief. Once he grabs enough loot for the day, he shares it with all the animals living around him. Food scraps, shiny cans to take shelter in, whatever they need. Every animal in his little community depends on him, and he never disappoints. You can tell he cares, like genuinely cares, even though he pretends to be this tough rogue raccoon. Tonight, though he's hyped, he announces to everyone that they're having a feast, a real Christmas Eve celebration using all the garbage scrap delicacies he can gather. The animals cheer, ready for their big holiday moment. Before that, he drops by a trio of mice who act like they're Navy SEALs. They're working out like crazy, doing push-ups in tiny sweatbands, talking big like they're getting ready for a world-saving mission. Falcon chats with them like they're regular neighbors, doing his flashy move where he slices a hot dog in midair like it's nothing. Clearly, his sensei training paid off. The mice ask him how preparations are going for what they call the Great Robbery. Falcon says everything's going great, but right now, he's focusing on Christmas. One of them suddenly asks if Rico knows about the plan, and this is the first time Falcon's chill vibe breaks. He laughs nervously, saying yes, but also kinda wishing he hadn't said anything at all. And just like that, Rico's dove shows up, dropping all the panic and stress right onto Falcon's head. The dove's ranting that the robbery is too big, too impossible, way out of Falcon's league. And apparently Falcon was convinced into this whole thing by some guy named Hans, this mysterious outsider who's obsessed with all the money and tech behind Bahia's trains. So this isn't just stealing from a hot dog cart. This is next level, high risk, life-changing stuff. Falcon gets annoyed and reminds Rico's dove, like, dude, I'm literally a professional thief. I do this. Plus, he already promised his street friends the best Christmas meal of their lives. He's not backing out. Rico finally gives up and just tells him to be careful, because one mistake and Falcon's ending up in the dog pound, or worse. Falcon heads to the nearest train station. In the middle of that uncanny crowd, a little girl lovingly places her kitten Maggie into the pet transport section and tells her she'll see her again at the final stop. Maggie watches her owner walk away from inside her little cage, but her attention snaps to Falcon immediately. Falcon leaps onto the roof of the train with ninja-level agility, pausing just long enough to wink at Maggie, who is absolutely not impressed. Then he calls Hans on his headset, ready for step one of the plan. Meanwhile, Maggie gets taken into the animal section with the other pets. 2 rabbits greet her, proudly mentioning they're expecting 10 babies. Maggie, trying to be polite, listens, but she also watches Falcon through the window as he starts hacking into the train's main controls exactly how Hans instructed. One by one, he overrides systems until Hans has full control of the entire train. A total stranger, a ghost in the wires, now owns Bahia's pride and joy. Back with Maggie and the pets, conversations get chaotic. None of them understand tech, especially the rabbits, who are too hippie-vibey for all this. Most of the animals are just excited about celebrating Christmas Eve with their families. Among them is a nervous little parrot taking his first trip ever. He's shaking like he's about to perform on stage, until he spots Judy, a gorgeous lyrebird. He tries to say his name but instead says Coco, like he malfunctioned. Falcon keeps moving car to car, following Hans' instructions. Maggie spots a hamster nearby playing a sad melody on a tiny instrument. He doesn't speak, but the photo taped to his cage pretty much tells his whole heartbreak story. We meet more pets. Momo, a clownfish who's low-key salty that his life resembles that of Nemo, and Leo, a turtle hoping to score the ninja role in Bull City. He laments that studios only hire famous animals now, and regulars like him don't stand a chance. A duck recognizes Leo and squeals like he's meeting a massive celebrity, which Leo totally tries to play cool. Then there's Randy, a chihuahua with the wildest anxiety issues on the planet. He actually needs sugar to stay calm. Luckily, his cage has a sugar dispenser that launches cubes at him whenever he gets too worked up. One bite and he knocks out asleep instantly. It's ridiculous but also kinda important later. Falcon reaches the food pantry car and basically lights up like a kid on Christmas morning. He wants to dive into all those treats, but Hans snaps him back to reality. There's one last system to hack, the pet cabin. Once he completes it, Hans officially takes over the entire train and watches with a sinister grin as the last passenger in that car, a giant German shepherd named Rex, sniffs the air. Rex is the definition of top-tier police dog, and he instantly smells trouble. Falcon panics a little and whispers to Hans that they might have a problem. Hans calmly says that it's fine, because the show is about to begin. Hans tells the human passengers over the speaker system that there's a temporary technical issue and they have to step off the train for a moment. Maggie's owner, Lisa, who was literally watching recap videos on her phone, steps off thinking it'll be quick. But once everyone's outside, the train doors slam shut, and the train speeds off on its own. Lisa screams and tries to chase it, terrified she's losing her kitten forever. But it's impossible to catch. The train goes faster and faster, not stopping at any station. Meanwhile, the pets have absolutely zero clue their humans are gone. They're just chilling, thinking everything's normal. Terrible service. Falcon freaks out and demands answers from Hans. Hans stays completely silent. Then things escalate even more. The train barrels toward a Santa Claus standing on the tracks, and poor Santa barely jumps out of the way in time, abandoning his sleigh. Falcon falls from his hiding spot during the chaos and ends up right in the middle of the pet car. He panics and improvises, pretending to be some kind of official pet supervisor, even though all escape routes are locked. Rex immediately picks up the scent of a thief and vows to take Falcon down at the next stop. Falcon just laughs it off, saying a washed-up old guard dog stuck in a cage can't exactly do much damage. That stings Rex, and he fires back, mocking Falcon's name. Why is a raccoon named after a bird anyway? Before Falcon can drag out some comeback, Maggie jumps in. She swears she saw him fly before. Like for real. Tiny kitten, dead serious. But another violent shake hits the train and suddenly Rex stops arguing. Something's wrong, and it's definitely connected to Falcon. Trying to deflect attention, Falcon launches into this dramatic origin story, like he's narrating a superhero prequel. He says he grew up completely alone because his parents were never around. He had to survive on garbage and instincts. One day, while scavenging through a trash can, an armed man caught him off guard and almost blasted his ear clean off. Falcon barely escaped alive, limping and exhausted, ready to accept his miserable end. But right then, he claims this majestic falcon swooped down like a guardian angel, picked him up, and raised him in its nest. According to him, that's how he learned hawk techniques. Strength, agility, big brain problem solving, and apparently, flight. Maggie claps like she's at a Broadway show. Rex just rolls his eyes and calls him a con artist. Falcon proudly shows the little bullet lodged in his ear as proof and says it reminds him to always stay alert. Funny how that sixth sense didn't help him avoid Hans' trap. Hans cranks the train faster and drops construction debris across the tracks. The train smashes through it, ripping metal across its nose like a giant horn. That impact wakes Randy straight out of his sugar coma. He shoots up screaming about aliens kidnapping him. Meanwhile, the news starts covering the runaway train. The two pregnant rabbits watch in horror, thinking about all the pets trapped inside, without knowing it's literally them. Falcon's mouse friends panic when they see the broadcast too. One of the mice sprints off to find Rico for help, but unfortunately, he's the slowest one of the squad. As the train speeds toward the desert, the pets see their owner's reactions on TV. Randy thinks his owner is coming to save him, until he sees her happily holding another chihuahua some sponsor gifted her. Dude is crushed. Total betrayal. Thankfully, a sugar cube shoots into his mouth just in time to knock him out before he has a meltdown. Lisa appears on camera next, crying and begging authorities to save the animals. Reporters hype it up even more, announcing the train is heading toward a deadly crash. And then Hans himself shows up on screen for the big villain reveal. He explains that this big heist is actually revenge against the only one who ever outsmarted him, Rex. Rex squints at the screen. He doesn't even recognize the guy. Hans reminds him they crossed paths 5 years ago when Rex busted him and his gang for stealing from a vet clinic. Rex shrugs, says he arrests like 10 criminals a day, so he can't remember every single loser he's thrown behind bars. Hans is furious. He vows that after today, Rex and every pet trapped with him will remember his name from the afterlife. All the animals freak out. They're convinced they're gonna die before reaching Bull City. Judy tries calming them, saying she knows the train's route and it won't crash there. But then she realizes something way worse. Because of the insane speed and the weight of all the connected cars, the whole thing is gonna derail way earlier, right at Devil's Bridge. Everyone panics even harder. Maggie thinks fast. She says they can save themselves if they move to the front cars and uncouple the back ones to lighten the load. But there's a problem. They're all still locked in cages and the keys are in another car. Unless someone is free, every pair of eyes turns to Falcon. They tell him to show off those Falcon powers he bragged about. At first he hesitates, but when Rex mocks him again, calling him useless and insisting a criminal can't save anyone, Falcon snaps. He's done being doubted. He climbs out through a floor hatch and crawls under the train, dodging shocks, sparks, and metal beams like he's doing a stunt scene. He even loses his little backpack with his Hawk logo tools, and that breaks his heart a little. Minutes pass. No sign of him. Rex is convinced he abandoned them and calls him a typical thief. But then the car door swings open. Falcon came back. All the animals cheer while Rex tries playing it off like it was just dumb luck. They start freeing everyone, but Rex isn't letting Falcon off easy. He demands to know why Falcon was even on the train in the first place. Before Falcon can think up an excuse, Hans shakes the whole train violently and appears on every TV screen, announcing he couldn't have completed the heist without help from his inside partner. Falcon panics and smashes the TV with a key before Hans can expose him. He's definitely hiding something. Hans loses patience and slams the train's speed even higher. The violent jolt breaks Rex free of his cage. Finally, the one-time chaos is actually useful, but right then, a gas cylinder explodes in the kitchen car. Flames spread fast. A greyhound named Victor gets dragged away in his rolling cage, straight toward a pitch-black corner where a huge snake lies coiled. Everyone freaks out, but the snake lifts her head and calmly introduces herself as Anna. She thanks Victor for freeing her from her own cage during the chaos. Then she starts helping everyone else out like she's an employee at a rescue center. She frees Leo, Andy the cat, Croquet's the duck, all of them. Falcon yells that they have to move toward car 8, but Rex steps in again, asking who died and made him boss. When Falcon challenges him to share a better idea, Rex confidently says they need to reach car 8 too, completely unaware the group has already left him behind. Momo the little clownfish sighs because they forgot him again. Another violent jolt sends his tank flying. Falcon and Rex both dive to catch it but miss completely. Momo luckily lands safely, but since he's underwater, neither of them can hear him yelling he's fine. Then the tank cracks and Momo spills out, flopping around helplessly. Falcon scoops him up and dumps him into the first water source he finds, a toilet. Momo is not thrilled. Falcon switches him to a jar of pickles, which is somehow worse. Finally, Falcon empties the vinegar and fills it with clean water. Momo's safe, but now everyone has witnessed the most embarrassing rescue attempt ever. When the group reaches the next car, Falcon doesn't waste another second and dives straight into the kitchen area, beating down the flames with literally a frying pan like he's Gordon Ramsay fighting a boss battle. A couple of animals immediately follow him, totally forgetting Momo again. Poor little guy. One by one, the pets hustle across the chaotic kitchen to the safer side, but then everyone freezes, waiting for Coco. The tiny bird steps forward and quietly admits that he never actually learned how to fly. That whole time, he's been faking the confidence. And right at that exact moment, like the universe wants to humiliate him, a gas cylinder drops, sparks, and triggers a full-on explosion that blows a massive chunk out of the train car. Everyone thinks that's it. Little Coco is done for, gone to the great bird paradise in the sky. But when the smoke clears, they spot him on the other side, shaky but alive. Coco somehow made it. The whole group lets out the biggest sigh of relief ever. Back with Rex's squad, he doubles down on his decision. If they had followed the thief, they'd be scattered across the tracks in 1,000 crispy pieces. Falcon fires back, saying if they hadn't wasted time arguing earlier, they would already be chillin' in the 8th car by now. No one keeps fighting though. The hanging carriage is seconds away from completely dropping off the train. Thinking fast, Rex yanks down the ceiling lights and rigs them into a makeshift bridge. Croquetas is the first brave soul to cross. Then Leo goes next, bouncing all over the place like some kind of life-size pinball but somehow landing safely. Next up is the pregnant bunny, who encourages her husband to cross too. But the dude is a full-blown hippie. He insists the universe does not have his stars aligned today. Rex doesn't care. He just scoops him up and carries him over. Once they're down, the rabbit starts bawling because he's convinced he'll never meet his future kids. Everyone is stressed. For the little AliExpress Nemo fish, Falcon starts tossing croquettes, and the fish leaps through the air catching them, wings or no wings. When it's Victor's turn, they warn him that this might be the most reckless thing he's ever attempted in his entire boring life. Falcon guides him across step by step, telling him to focus only on his tail like it's some kind of meditation training. And Victor's doing fine, until the whole carriage suddenly snaps loose. Victor almost plummets straight down, but Anna grabs him just in time, promising that if he falls, she's falling with him. And once again, everyone wonders why the giant snake didn't help earlier. They literally could have used her entire body as a bridge and saved half this chaos. But nope, plot is plot. The abandoned carriage finally derails and explodes in a fireball, just as Magi predicted. Even geniuses have their moments. Falcon asks her what's next, and Magi explains that they need to detach at least half the remaining train cars if they want any chance of reaching Devil's Bridge without instantly collapsing it. That's the limit Han designed it for. Meanwhile, back in the city, Rico hangs out with the mice watching live news reports. The reporters officially announce that the train is considered lost. It's headed toward the most dangerous section of track. Rico freaks out and reveals Falcon's real name, Morse. And somehow only Rico knows that, but the answer to why is coming later, and it's honestly kind of wild. Determined to save her friend, the dove jumps off the building and sneaks herself onto the news chopper flying toward the train. On the train, the animals start uncoupling car after car while Judy teaches Coco how to fly mid-chaos. Rex notices electrical panels ripped apart, clear sabotage, and instantly suspects Falcon. Meanwhile, Magi trips over Lisa's suitcase and gets this burst of motivation from it, spreading some positivity to a very depressed hamster. The reporters in the helicopter film the whole daring mission and confirm the animals are alive, giving their owners a little hope, right before the train reaches Devil's Bridge, which looks like it wants to fall apart out of pure stress. Falcon and Rex team up to detach the final car. The bridge starts giving way under them, and the dog Cachupian hesitates, torn between saving himself or going back for the raccoon. In the end, he jumps to safety. But any victory is way too early. The train is still stuck on the collapsing remains of the bridge. While the animals cling for their lives, a bag of candy launches into the air, and Randy, the absolute idiot, can't resist grabbing one. He eats it instantly, knocks himself out, and falls off the train. Coco dives after him and both disappear into the flames. Everyone screams, until a few seconds later, the parrot bursts back up into the air carrying the sleeping puppy, boosted by a shockwave from below. Crowd goes wild. The reporters fly back to the city, since they lost their camera mid-report. Rico isn't leaving. He's not abandoning Falcon. While everyone celebrates Coco and Randy's survival, Rex says maybe, just maybe, they might actually survive this thing. Falcon agrees and lays out the final mission. They must reach the driver's cabin and manually slam the brakes before the train wipes out all of Toro City. Storm clouds roll in fast, and things go from bad to nightmare. Trees fall, logs slam the train, metal screeches everywhere. In the chaos, Falcon's iconic bracelet slips off, revealing that he actually never had a bullet lodged in his chest like everyone thought. Magi panics, Rex pressures him, the raccoon breaks, and confesses he was never shot by a hawk. He cut his own ear on a soda can lid. And the bird who saved him? Not a legendary hawk, just a regular city pigeon. Rico's pigeon actually. Everyone is stunned. Rex pushes harder, accusing Falcon of working for Han. Falcon finally admits he helped Han at the beginning, but he didn't know Han was a full psycho with Christmas-themed homicide plan. He only wanted to give his friends the kind of Christmas he never had. Right then, Hans speeds up the train even more, throwing Falcon off balance and straight out of the train. Even though he lied, the animals are devastated. With Falcon gone, who's going to save them now? Rex tries to stay strong, and Magi tells him he's their last hope. Meanwhile, Falcon wakes up hanging from a lonely tree branch over a cliff. The branch snaps, but he lucks out and falls into a lake deep in the forest. Still, he has no chance of getting back to the train on foot. While the animals debate their fate, Randy worries about his owner. Andy casually shrugs, saying owners aren't a big deal. He literally used his to explode his own social media fame. Even now, he's milking his position on a runaway train for clout. On the news, Lisa appears crying, and reporters promise to send a helicopter to rescue her beloved Magi and the rest. Unaware, Magi keeps climbing the train roofs toward the front, just like Falcon did earlier. Hans sees her getting close to the driver's cabin, panics, and launches his drone from his creepy camper van. Not far away, Rico finds Falcon slumped in the forest. Falcon feels worse than ever. He thinks he failed everyone and now they're all going to die because he pretended to be a hero. He admits he was stupid for trying to be a hawk. Rico tells him he's wrong. Being a hawk doesn't matter, having a huge heart does. Right when the train needs a miracle, Kredas hypes up Leo and Momo to go full superhero mode and help. Magi finally reaches the brake lever, but Hans pops up behind her, blocking the way. From a distance, Rico yells at Falcon to fix his mistake. Falcon wants to give up, thinking he'll ruin things more, but Rico tells him he's proud of him because he never hesitates to help others when it matters. Motivated by those words, Falcon spots a toy car that fell off the train earlier and uses it like a skateboard to blast himself back toward the train at high speed. Rex confronts Hans, yelling at him to release Magi because she has nothing to do with his twisted revenge. Hans responds by yeeting Magi out the window. She hangs on desperately. Rex fights Hans like crazy while also trying to reach her. Hans uses the distraction to toss both of them out, but suddenly 3 unexpected heroes appear. A turtle, a clownfish, and a duckling, all teaming up to push Hans back. They buy enough time for Rex to save Magi. But Hans comes back swinging for round 2. Meanwhile, Falcon spots a perfect ramp just before the train and launches himself into the air. Hans turns, just in time to get a face full of flying raccoon. Falcon lands hard. Falcon hits the ground rolling, barely catching his breath. He looks back at the other animals and apologizes, telling them straight up that he never meant for any of this to happen. He promises he'll fix the mess himself, even if he has to do it alone. To keep Hans from hurting anyone else, Falcon lures the badger into another train car and slams the door shut behind them. He knows he can't match Hans in brute strength, so he leans into the one advantage he does have, pure raccoon ingenuity. He grabs whatever he can find, pots, lids, crates, rolling carts, basically turning the train car into a DIY battlefield just to slow Hans down. The fight is chaotic, wild, and loud, and pretty soon they're crashing out onto the roof of the speeding train. Right at that moment, the news helicopter swings overhead. Lisa is on board, squeezed between reporters who definitely aren't there to help. Down on the ground, authorities reroute the train toward an unfinished line so it won't crash into a crowded area. Though, honestly, they're acting like the animals don't count as lives. And that's when Lisa realizes the awful truth. The reporters didn't bring her up there to save the pets. They brought her to record her face when they die. Straight up foul behavior. Back on the roof, Hans finally gets the upper hand. He smacks Falcon down so hard it looks like it might be the end. Even Rico shouting from below can't break Falcon out of it. But then Falcon sees Hans grab Rico and toss him into the air like some sick joke. Something snaps inside Falcon. He remembers the tough little mice who raised him, who taught him how to fight when he was just a clueless raccoon. He jumps up, voice cracking as he roars that nobody hurts his dad. With this sudden burst of willpower, he goes full martial arts mode. He attacks Hans using the exact same techniques the mice drilled into him. The dodges, the strikes, the weird little mouse-style grapples. He even pulls off their signature Kraken move, wrapping Hans up like a pretzel. But right as he thinks he's got the upper hand, they pass under a low bridge. Falcon doesn't see it in time. The crack is brutal. He goes down hard. Hans climbs onto his drone to escape the train entirely. He floats away laughing, mocking all the animals who trusted Falcon. The rabbit hippie, who's usually super chill about everything, even death, tries to accept it. But when he looks at his wife's terrified face, something inside him snaps too. He charges at Hans like a furry missile, slams into him, and smashes him straight through the drone window. Hans goes spinning. The other pets don't even hesitate. They pile in and beat the villain down until Hans is too dazed to fight back. With him finally out of commission, the hippie rabbit takes over the drone controls and crashes it into the gearshift, forcing the train onto a safer track. For a moment, it looks like he sacrificed himself, but Anna, the snake, zips in and saves him. His wife cheers like she just watched him jump out of a burning building. Meanwhile, Maggie realizes the humans aren't gonna do anything. They're just watching and waiting for disaster. No rescue team. No emergency brakes. Nothing. The animals quietly huddle together, bracing for the worst, hoping they'll all meet again somewhere after this. But Falcon refuses to accept that. Motivated by Rico's words echoing in his mind, he lifts himself again, spreads his arms, and glides through the storm. With every ounce of strength left in him, he reaches the first car and slams the brake lever down right before they hit Toro City. A real hero. Their legend. Back in the air, the reporters try filming their dramatic finale, only for their camera battery to die at the worst, and honestly best, moment possible. Their whole exploitative story collapses into nothing. Even after Falcon hits the brakes, the train is still coming in way too hot. It slams into a parked service car, derails, and finally grinds to a stop at the edge of a highway. In all the chaos, the hamster almost throws himself into the wreckage trying to grab a photo of his late wife, but Maggie gently stops him. She tells him it's time to let the pain go. He finally listens. Once it's clear they survived, the animals swarm Falcon with praise. Even Rex gives him a nod, which for a dog like Rex is basically a standing ovation. But when the sirens start roaring closer, Rex quietly tells Falcon he has to leave unless he wants to end up in the pound again. Maggie doesn't want him to go. It hurts. But Falcon promises her, with that soft, warm look only raccoons can do, that this won't be the last time they see each other. Not by a long shot. The owners reunite with their pets. Hans gets dragged off by the authorities. Rex laughs right in his face, saying he still can't even remember his name. Total disrespect. The reporter tries threatening Lisa, but Lisa instantly plays her trump card. She recorded the reporter admitting the truth. And since the cameraman still had a backup battery, the whole news team turns on their boss. Karma hits fast. The remaining pets pair up and start new lives. Coco and Judy stay together. Randy and Andy charm a firefighter into adopting them. Leo, Momo, and Croquetas start planning their next superhero adventure like they're drafting a trailer for their own spin-off movie. The rabbit couple gets ready for their babies to hatch. The hamster finally lets go of his grief. Falcon and Rico head home, where a surprise waits.